Hi, this is Paul from Outerloop Coaching and OuterloopCoaching.com. I'm with you in this video to talk about overcoming self-doubt as a musician or an aspiring music business pro. Many of us suffer from this. Maybe everybody suffers from this, just that some people hide it more than others. So I'm going to expose all of my self-doubts in this video and talk about ways that I get over them and ways that I can suggest for you to try to get over them as a musician or aspiring music business professional. Now, first thing you got to keep in mind is that the brain is chemicals and electricity. There are things firing off all the time. If you're eating unhealthy, if you're not getting exercise, if you're not being good to yourself in that sort of way, the things that fire off in your brain will sometimes be negative and it will cause self-doubt. It has nothing to do with who you are, what you are capable of, or what is happening around you. It is just your brain, for all intents and purposes, causing tricks on you. It is pulling tricks on you. So do not listen to it when it happens, but if you hear it, you see it, try to shake up your diet to eat something a little bit better, get a little bit of exercise. That sort of thing is going to help. It's going to reduce the amount of self-doubt you have. Now, you didn't tune into this to hear, I need to run blocks, right? What you want to hear is some real practical advice. So let's start with the first one. It is, do not read reviews, do not read the comments. Now, I'm going to share something at the very end of this video, so stick around on a comment that I got that, man, it still eats at me because it was so bad, it was so dumb, but in the moment, it caused self-doubt. So I want to share that, but I'll share that at the end. Now, keep in mind that there are a lot of negative people out there, the same people that I was just talking about who've got the chemicals and electricity just firing off in all sorts of bad ways in their brain. They cannot stop themselves from being negative. Now, whether this is 5% of the people out there or 50% of the people out there, I have no idea. But what I do know is that when I see comments, even on some of the best songs, the best music videos, I see comments on really, really great stuff that's being put out there, I see a lot of negativity. Some people, even when they're giving a compliment, can't stop themselves from sounding negative. So don't read it. If you can, if you've got somebody in your local or in your network who you could ask to read for you and just filter out the bad stuff, that's great. But just if you suffer from self-doubt in any way, shape, or form, just skip the reviews, skip the comments. Now, I know that everybody tells you out there, you got to be engaged on social media. You got to be engaged with the comments. And if you can muscle the strength to do it and not let it affect you, yes, that is really great. But if those comments can cause days, even weeks sometimes, of inactivity that is more damaging to the rest of your career, skip it. Skip it and do not listen to anybody who tells you that you cannot. It's always a give and a take. There are some compromises you're going to have to make. If comments and bad reviews just bum you out too bad, skip them. You don't need to read them, and most of the time it is bogus and untrue. Number 2, make what you love, then love what you made. This is absolutely key. When you are sitting down to make music and write songs and you're creating, make sure you are focused on what you love. Make sure you are focused on creating something that you want to hear, that you will enjoy playing. Sometimes that means you got to spend a night or two listening back to it, and if you're still in love with it, it wasn't just in the moment, then you have made something great. Commit yourself to loving your art. Commit yourself to loving that music once you have made the decision that, yes, this is good. And once you've made that commitment to yourself and to your art, do not let anybody shake you. Now, this can be tough for people who are perfectionists or have a tendency towards perfection. And Mike Mowery says all the time, great content done consistently over time is the key. So you want to make sure that you are constantly putting out great content, and perfectionism can prevent that from happening, and that can be detrimental. But if you can make sure that you are proud of what you are doing and you commit to being proud to it, you're going to be okay. Just make sure that that process is as tight and as quick as you can possibly make it. But do not regret anything that you do. Even some great musicians, I've got a link to a video right over my head about Rivers Cuomo from Weezer and how he reacted to his Pinkerton album, which is now considered a cult classic. At one point, it was considered by Rolling Stone magazine's readers as one of the worst albums of the year. And he was embarrassed by it for a long, long time. So it happens even to the best of us. So try to avoid that from happening by just committing yourself to loving what you make. Again, make what you love, then love what you made. All right, number 3, set obtainable goals and make daily steps to achieve those goals. Again, make obtainable goals and make daily steps to achieve those goals. Make sure that you are setting goals that are possible, and they can be extremely high, right? But if they are extremely high and extremely far away, set goals that are going to be markers to get there. And when you get to a goal that's really obtainable, even put a timeline on it, like this is going to happen in the next 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years, whatever it is that you are committing yourself to. Set that goal, and then every single day, make sure that one of the first things you're thinking about when you wake up in the morning is what you're going to do to get you closer to that goal. As long as you keep doing that, self-doubt will never even have a chance against you. Now, sometimes things are not going to work out as planned, but as long as the next morning you wake up, you have a new step that you are making to get to your obtainable goal, there is nothing that self-doubt can, it won't have time to live. Commit yourself to that and you'll be good. So those are my suggestions. Now, I'll tell you, I received a comment once early on while making Outerloop coaching videos about how artists, the guy was saying that artists don't want to get signed. Artists don't want to get signed. Now, I've got inside my back end, everything that I look at from Google searches and Google Search Console, I should say, and all of that stuff, and what pages and blogs on our Outerloopcoaching.com get the most hits, the most reads, what videos get the longest time that people are watching. I got all that data, and what I can tell you is that getting signed seems to be like the most important thing to all of these people. I know it because I've seen the data. Now, that may not be true for you, and it certainly wasn't true for this commenter, but this commenter was being negative in saying, oh no, what you're doing isn't worth it because you're looking at the wrong stuff, when thousands of other people are telling me something very, very different by just watching and seeing what their activity is. So my way of getting over the self-doubt, that initial self-doubt of, oh man, I guess he also complained because I use my hands too much, right? That first reaction was, oh man, maybe I am doing something wrong. But the way that I got over it was that I looked at the data, and the data doesn't lie. Now, you can do the same when you look at your Spotify streams, when you look at where it is that people live who are listening to what you're doing, which posts are getting the most likes, the most shares, stuff like that is good data that will tell you what you are doing that people like versus what they not like so much. So when somebody is trying to tear you down and cause self-doubt for something that you are committed to loving, and everybody else through their activity is telling you what you're doing is one of the best things you've ever done, those people are the ones that you listen to, not the negative doubters. All right, so this is Paul from Outerloop Coaching, and I'll see you in the next video.